Most people install Claude Code and just start typing, no context, no structure. That's like hiring a senior engineer and not even telling him what your company does. In the next 5 minutes, I'll show you the exact setup I use on every single project. Here's the thing. Claude Code is only as good as the context you give it. The difference between a productive session and fighting the AI comes down to the first 5 minutes. So it's 4 simple steps, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Step 1, dead simple, make sure your project folder is set up and run Git. Why? Because Claude Code automatically reads your status, the diffs, your commit history, and you get all that context for free. That's really important and way better than a complex folder structure. The second part is if you're actually running it in an existing code base, it's going to pull all that information in. Step 2, your Claude.md. So this is going to be your secret weapon. You got to create the file in your root of your project. Claude's going to read that automatically every time you start a session. Think about it like an onboarding doc for your engineer that they're actually going to read every single time. So you want 5 things in here: what the project is, your tech stack, where files live, any rules or boundaries, and your common commands. The really cool thing is if you're running an actual repo already, you can get Claude to help you by going through and working with you to create this Claude.md file. Looking at the way that you wrote code, your tech stack, your deployment pipelines, all that information is there. Here's what a real one looks like. It doesn't need to be long, a few lines per section. What is this? What's the stack? Where do things go? And what are the rules? So server components by default, what not to touch from an auth standpoint. And that's it. 15 lines. Claude Code knows exactly what it's working with. Step 3 is your first prompt. So you want to make sure that your first prompt isn't generic or hard for it to follow. You want it to be something like read the project structure and Claude.md, then scaffold out express routes described in README. This is really important when you're setting up on a large project that you have these guidances pre-built in for Claude to follow. Think about it like a human engineer. If they don't know what they're working on, what the expectations are, what the user's going to need at the end of it, how are they ever going to create a product? So if you don't set them up with this information, they're just really not going to be able to build you what you need. The final step is a feedback loop. And I think this is often one that people miss because you just don't think about it. When you finish a project and you are about to end the session, go through with Claude and just pull out the things that went well, what didn't. Update your Claude.md, update your system, and that's going to allow you to have a learning loop so it gets better with you. It's not going to be perfect in the beginning, but the more you work with it and the more effort you put into it, the better it's going to be. Think of it like anybody else on your team. So that's the whole process. 4 steps, 5 minutes. Make sure your Git is set up in your projects. You got a good, strong Claude.md, and your first prompt is specific, refers to files, and sets the session up for success. And then implement a feedback loop so that you're able to have a system that's continuously learning as you are using it more and more. If you found this helpful, subscribe. I'm putting out a whole series on getting the most out of AI coding tools. And up next, we're going to be looking at building custom workflows that you can actually use to save time and help you and your team.